This video continues our discussion for quiz 1 in session 7, and we're starting with question number 6. And in question number 6, it says, in recent decades, the pay gap between men and women has narrowed as pay of females has risen faster than pay of males. Which of the following explanations most accurately explains the relative wage gains of women? So basically, what I want you to do is think, you could, after reading the chapter, think of what women were, the situation for women, let's say in the 1950s. Um, if a woman in the 1950s in the United States was looking for work, what were some of the things in the labor market that would justify paying her a lower wage than a man? Now, let's go to 2013. What's the difference between a woman in 1950, the average woman in 1950, and the average woman in 2013? That difference should help you determine which one of these best explains why women are now paid more than they were and why their pay has been rising faster than men. Now here we have a table, and the table shows number of employees and tables per week. So Classic Oaks receives $200 for every table that it sells. So they're selling tables. The production function shows the relationship between the number of workers employed and the number of tables produced each week. So here are the employees, and this is how much output is changing. Remember, this is total output, not output per person. So question number 7 says, when Classic Oaks hires 2 workers rather than one worker, what is the marginal product for the second worker measured in tables per week? Now remember, marginal product. Whenever you hear the word marginal, you think of the words change in. A marginal analysis is a before and after. So in this case, what is the marginal product when you hire the second worker? So what is the second worker's contribution to output? For question number 8, and please note how to answer when you input your answer. Please follow the instructions that you see here. So question number 8, how much additional revenue does Classic Oaks receive if it increases employment from 2 workers to 3 workers? Equivalently, what is the marginal revenue product of the third worker? So let's go back to the table. This shows the number of employees and how output changes. And here, each Classic Oak receives $200 per table. So for every table that is sold, that's what they receive. So what I want you to do is for question number 8, I'm asking how much revenue is received if it increases employment from 2 workers to 3 workers. So based upon what the third worker contributes and the value for the tables, you should be able to calculate how much revenue increases when you go from 2 workers to 3 workers. Question number 9, if Classic Oak must pay each worker a market wage of $520 per week, how many workers should the company hire to maximize profits? So think about this is the number of employees. If you pay them $520 per week, that's how much the company is spending in terms of wages. So if you hire 3 workers, 3 times 520, that's total expenditure on wages. The question is, how much revenue is being generated? So in the book, it tells you how to determine the profit maximizing rate of employment. Now, this sounds a lot like chapters 8, 9, and 10 when we talk about maximizing profit with production. Here, we're talking about maximizing profit with hiring workers. So if you remember, in perfect competition in Monopoly, you keep on producing until the last unit produced has a marginal revenue equal to its marginal cost. That's how you maximize profit. In this case, the same process is going to be employed. In other words, it's going to be similar to MR equals MC. You have to determine what is the MR here and what is the MC here. And the book will help you with that. Finally, question number 10. When the minimum wage is set above the market clearing wage. Now, when I say market clearing wage, I simply means the equilibrium wage. So when the minimum wage is set above the market clearing wage of a competitive labor market, the outcome is, so what if the minimum wage is set above what the market has already established? That should, one of these will be the right answer. Now, what I recommend that you do is, I believe, go back to question, I think it was at number 1, that had this labor supply, labor demand curve. Where they cross, that's the equilibrium wage. Draw a line above it, and that would be a minimum wage above equilibrium wage, and then you should be able to answer that based upon that information. Okay, good luck.